Hello everybody and welcome to the warm-up here in the round we are at Spain here for MotoGP. It will be a 10-minute warm-up session and I'm a commentator obviously for now, Megan Birch, until Joshua is away, which he will be back next MotoGP I hope, but I am your commentator for today. Warm-up has started now. And I shall throw over to TNT.
I was rolling back the years a little bit, and I really like the sound of that. That was someone who, you know, it's found a bit of motivation, and it will feed into what his team are doing, feed into everything that's going on there at Yamaha. On the other side, I like what Marc Marquez said about it. He said, Fabio's super talented. We need him at the front in MotoGP. He's a character. He's a great rider, and we need Yamaha up there as well. And it was the thing you do perhaps when you're someone's rival like that. But I'm sure that Mark will have enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need other personalities, other characters, other manufacturers up in the mix. Nobody wants to see a Ducati lock out. Believe it or not, Ducati don't. They want some competition. They want to make it so that. Do you know what I almost felt? You saw Mark win yesterday, and cameras went into the Ducati garage, and I'm not saying they weren't happy, but it's become expected, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, maybe just takes the edge off the elation that you would normally experience when your rider secures a victory.
Today they are looking to equal the record for consecutive wins in the Premier class of 22 that Honda hold from the Doohan-Crivier era. Really, it was Doohan in the main who took those wins back in 97 and 98, and that's what Ducati are looking to do today. Can Neil, Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia here on your screens, can they have something to say about that? Can they?
Look, they can
choose the destination of it?
They can. It is going to be very difficult. I hate saying it, but they have to do him in off the start. They have to make a move really early. The problem is Marc Marquez has had lightning starts all season. He's had 4 pole positions, qualified second here, so he's on the front row, and he gets a good jump off the line. When are you going to lay a glove on him? It's almost impossible. He's like the Gulf rider, isn't he? He just floats there in front of you, and there's nothing you can do. So, yeah, all his rivals will be hoping he doesn't get a lightning start, and then they've got a chance. What we've learned over the last 3 seasons and 4 seasons in MotoGP, especially at this track, if you are following, it is more difficult to overtake. This is one of the tracks where the front tyre pressure, tyre temperature can play a bit of an issue, can create a little bit less grip, so you definitely want clean air on your front tyre.
Yeah, yesterday it spread out. I feel it was just Mark, the pace he was imposing, and as you say rightly, then hard to follow someone. So it ended up everyone had a second between them. I've read a couple of reports actually across of people saying, I think Luca Marini, a comment he made yesterday was a bit like, well, what is there to risk for in the sprint? I'd rather just bring the bike home, get some data, and get ready and know the better points, the bigger points are on offer on Sunday. And he feels that's all the way up through the grid, really only between first and second. Now, I'm not sure whether I wholeheartedly agree, but the sprint format was brought in as wham bam thank you ma'am excitement, wasn't it? Yeah. And it's not been that recently, has it?
No, it's not.
But I'm not sure whether that's down to Mark dominating.
Yeah, well that's not helped. It's funny, I think part of it's down to Mark dominating, and I don't believe what Luca Marini's comments are why Luca Marini is Luca Marini and not well, let's say 3 or 4 times Pecco Bagnaia, because Pecco Bagnaia's not riding around thinking, well, I'll just take the points, is he? I mean, he's pushing as hard as he can. Unfortunately, he can't quite keep up with the pace. So I read those comments and thought, I don't know. I don't think a lot of the riders are thinking that. Don't get me wrong. If you're in a battle for 13th and you know there's no point, I don't get a point even if I finish 12th. I'm not going to risk a lot. I understand that, but if you're in a fight for the championship, if you're in a fight inside that top 10, which is what we're always concentrating on, the riders are giving it everything.
For someone like Alex Marquez in this session, when we've just seen track temperatures just low 20s, air temperature, it's quite chilly out there, isn't it, until the sun picks things up relatively. how much is there to actually learn? Because what we know is how greasy this place will be when they go racing.
Yeah, the conditions will feel completely different. Like now, the track is in grip-wise really like perfect grip conditions. The problem is the left-hand side of the front tyre can be a bit sensitive. So essentially you've got more rear grip and then questionable front grip. It's quite tight through. Aldeguer does not care, does he? That's for me, Aldeguer passing Aleix Espargaro, who's wild carded this weekend for Honda.
Yeah, trying lots of different bits on that bike.
I liked his comments after the race. He went, "My arms were finished after 2 laps." As we know, Aleix Espargaro, since retiring from racing, Honda test rider, is now a semi-professional
Yeah, he's
cyclist.
an ambassador for the Little Trek team. So he's doing a lot of that, a lot of cycling stuff as well.
So he said, "My legs are in perfect shape, but my arms aren't," because as you know, most cyclists don't really train up a body. So he said he
looks like a cyclist, doesn't he?
He was feeling it. Yes, he always has done, hasn't he? He looks incredibly lean. But yeah, it sounds like he's as a test rider, it is your job. He's in the process of trying more extreme things on the bike and gathering data. But yeah, it is. To be honest, it is tricky to know what setting-wise what you are going to learn in these conditions, because when you take away grip as the track temperature goes up in the afternoon, the bike will feel completely different. So you can make some changes to engine braking strategy. Maybe give you a little bit more engine braking. You've got the grip in the track. Oh yeah, that feels definitely better. You go out in the race in the afternoon and you've got less grip, and all of a sudden that increased engine braking strategy is now locking the rear. So don't get me wrong, the teams will be aware of that.
They've been coming here long enough to know, and they are, not daft. Not like we're teaching them how to suck eggs or anything, but it's just one of those things so you at home understand the quandaries that there are here, the calculations that are having to be made as Quartararo, whose pace is good.
Yeah.
Pace is good, but we saw yesterday he was able to lead, but then he gets to a back straight, even though it's the shortest, or at least slowest top speed that we go to on the whole MotoGP calendar, he could not do battle.
It was clear to see, and the issue that he had was, and it was, you won't get a better example. What happens is Marc Marquez on a fast Ducati behind us, Quartararo on a slow Yamaha, he just didn't have to out-brake Quartararo. What had happened is he just used the power of the bike, he levelled him, so when he got to the braking zone, he was on the inside, so in the right part of the track, and just brake at the same point as Quartararo. Job done. So it makes overtaking really easy for a Ducati rider, well, for any rider. Well, no, I'll start that one again. It makes it incredibly hard if you're a Yamaha rider to battle against the V4s out there on the track. Bear in mind, every other manufacturer's a V4. So they've just got that extra punch out of the corners. More top speed.
Marc Marquez top. Here we go on board with Didger. Now, Fabio Gian Antonio said he had a few issues yesterday with vibration from the rear that he wasn't expecting at all. Said especially the tyre went down towards the end of the race. Now, we've heard Marc Marquez talk about vibrations, but he says it's quite predictable. It's actually off throttle, that kind of thing. And he can predict, he knows what corner is happening at, whereas Di Gian Antonio was having a serious problem with it today.
Yeah, it was funny with Di Gian Antonio. All weekend he's looked off it. It's been quite impressive this year to see him miss the whole pre-season due to breaking his collarbone. And I thought he's had some really good, strong rides this year. But yeah, I don't know. He's been about 3/10 off where he needs to be.
I wonder how much it will change things. Everyone's going out on the medium. That'll be the race tyre. I feel like that does change things as well.
Wow.
For your likes of Pecco Bagnaia in particular.
That was such a good shot of Marquez through 7. You could see how little track he was using on the outside. You actually saw the rear of the bike step out. We saw him use his skill and talent, which is what we keep hearing of all the riders. When you follow Mark through those fast left-handers, turn 7 and turn 8. It's a good view of it.
Yeah, there's been loads of good. You have to go to MotoGP socials. We've got them on ours at TNT Sports Bikes. you go to Instagram, and you can go and find it on Facebook, for example, of some of the behind-the-scenes comments of what has been going on. There's a lovely exchange.
Right, I'll take over from this point. Right, so warm-up has now ended. I shall read out the results for today, though there are still a couple who still need to cross the line, but they do not look like they are making any improvements. So, right, so top of warm-up so far is Marc Marquez, followed by Alex Marquez. In second, Quartararo is third, hoping to make a better day of it than what turned out to be yesterday in the sprint when he unfortunately crashed. Fourth is Bagnaia, Vinales is fifth, sixth is D'Antonio, Morbidelli is seventh, eighth is Aldeguer, Mir is ninth, 10th is Bezzecchi, Acosta is 11th, 12th is Miller, Binder is 13th, Raul Fernandez is 14th, 15th is Marini, Zarco is 16th, 17th is Bastianini, Ayagura is in 18th, Aleix Espargaro is in 19th, Rins is in 20th, Augusto Fernandez is in 21st, Lorenzo Salvadori is in 22nd and Chantra is in 23rd. Marquez's time was a 1:37.069, and I was definitely seeing quite a bit of improvement from a few of the riders here for this warm-up session, especially from Morbidelli, given he's kind of got his edge back and isn't actually crashing again, which we saw both yesterday and I believe the day before. I'm not quite sure about that one. Though, please look at the other things that are live on the channel. I believe there is something to do with touring cars coming up on this. Yeah, race to watch along for... No, it's GB3. I don't know. And it's on touring. There's touring cars on the main channel, I believe, of JB Motorsports. And later on today, there will be on this channel Moto 3 at 10 o'clock, I believe, and then Moto 2 at around 11:15. And then I believe it's 1 o'clock for the MotoGP Grand Prix here at Spain. Thank you for watching. Please look at all the other things there are today, because there are a lot. You're definitely not going to be short of things to watch. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.